In 3, 2, 1, I am sunburnt. I am peeling like a snake from Africa.
That's what?
It is very uncomfortable.
Where are you sunburned at, sir?
I'm a sunburnt on my forehead, my nose, and my lips.
Anus.
I look like a slave.
Oh my god. Slaves don't get sunburned, do they?
I mean, you can.
I didn't even know. Not to be racist. I didn't know black people could get sunburned.
Yes, it is possible. It's happened a few times.
Isn't that a thing? In quote me if I'm wrong, South Africa, the reason why black people's skin is darker is due to being able to
absorb more sunlight
and fight off
potentially
like
melanin
and stuff like that. Melanin. Yeah.
Well, I mean, because you can get skin cancer. Anybody can.
Yeah.
But as a black person, because
it's less likely.
It takes longer for us to burn.
So if anything, you wouldn't get sun absorption. You'd be vitamin D deficient.
Well, it'd almost be like an overdose.
That was true. Because even during like the pandemic, they were saying that there was doctors that, again, listening to like Joe Rogan and stuff like that on his podcast, there were doctors saying that black people were more prone to getting COVID because they were deficient in vitamin D, which is why they were recommending vitamin D supplementation.
Vitamin D's nuts?
Okay. Here I'm trying to give you logic.
He's like, I'm trying to give you information, and you act like
trying to give you access to the Matrix, and you're still looking at the lady in the red dress.
I don't want the blue pill. I don't want it. Not yet.
Yet?
Give me the purple pill, and then we'll see how it goes. All right, so we'll go ahead and fill you in on that little backstory right after this. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm D.
This is Lynn.
We're Project Airwaves. It's been a minute.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
It always is.
We're so glad you waited for us.
Thanks for staying.
You know what I mean?
Thanks for playing.
So, if you haven't already, check out all of our social media links in the description down below. I've got a book on Amazon. I just started a new company with my fiance, New Beginning Drive Academy. Lynn just got his collarbone re-snapped and shaved down, and he's going to go into all that here shortly.
All that fun stuff.
We had a hike for Father's Day. It was great.
It was nice. It was definitely one of the nicer hikes.
But you're going to have to wait till the end when we talk about it. Oh, gotcha. All right, so actually what we're going to, I don't know why I just karate chopped my mic. What we're actually going to jump off into as our first topic is trying to establish yourself, trying to find that stable footing. Lynn's going through some shit at work right now. I'm going through some shit in my life, trying to start this business and everything. And y'all have heard about our woes and whatnot, but it's okay because you're going to hear a little bit more, okay? So sit back, get some popcorn. If you're over 21, grab a drink. If you're over 18, is it 21 or 18 for 420?
21.
It's 21. So 21, if you're also over 21,
yes.
Grab some 420. Let's jump off into it. Lynn, how's your life going?
Oh, man. There's so much. I feel like this episode is long overdue.
There's not enough time in the day.
No. I'm noticing more and more there's always time. There's always moments where I'm constantly moving around and I don't feel like I have enough time to catch up on the things.
Yes.
I set notes upon like guidelines upon things that I need to do,
right.
like an agenda or a to-do list.
Yes.
And what's supposed to take a day gets prolonged through like a week.
A month.
And it's like I can't find a good way to establish because there's so much things to catch up.
Yes.
Even in between all this time, which I guess we'll go into pretty much just like
briefly.
Yeah, like, I had a very major surgery.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the third surgery I've had in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it always comes to the same conclusion that life doesn't stop moving regardless of what's happening to you.
Facts.
And it makes it really, really hard to adapt when you're already struggling at life.
Yes.
While working full time, while doing everything
right.
100%. I've always been running like at 100%, 100 miles an hour, no break, no nothing, just consistent grind. And then I'm like, okay, I needed to take a break for the surgery because I was only getting worse. And life's like, well, I'm thinking like, oh, can you, slow down a little bit, give me some time to recover. Life's like, nope. There's
Still
this
going.
bill that's due. There's this bill that's due. There's this thing that's due. Oh, by the way, you're not getting any money. So let's figure this out. And it's, like you said, man, trying to find a stable ground is, I feel like I'm like teeter-tottering on the tip of a mountain.
Right.
With a bunch of plates balancing in my hand.
Right.
Like a circus show, like trying to ride a unicycle up a hill.
Yes, while somebody's shooting at you.
Yes, and it's just, I'm.
It takes a lot.
Yes.
It took
a lot for me to be able to get any kind of establishment. Like today, I was stressing out pretty bad.
Right.
More than I have in a very long time.
And I mean, that's the thing, though. It's when you're kind of thrown off your normal day-to-day routine. Like, me and Lynn always grew up, we talk about all the time, working hard. Like, there's never really been a time where me and Lynn weren't working, even, like, before we were legally able to work. So, you know, we're used to just kind of being able to power through. Oh, I got an injury. Power through it. Oh, I don't feel good today. Power through it. Oh, I'm really not mentally in it today. Power through it. But when your body starts to give out on you and you have to force yourself to sit down and recover, it's one of those things of your job it doesn't treat you like you.
Right.
Where you would be like, I have to get through this. I have to go to work. I have to get paid. Your job's like, okay, well, if you're not here, we're not going to pay you.
Yeah, and that's
and that's crazy.
That's one of the biggest hiccups I'm coming through right now. I guess we'll talk surgery now.
Go.
Okay. So a little bit about myself. Obviously, with my job profession, I train officers for a giant company, pretty much a company that owns most of this town, to do defensive tactics, do grappling, do jiu-jitsu, do striking, and handcuffing, and the laws and stuff like that before they go to property to secure properties. So my job is very high contact, very, very fast-paced. It's never really a day where it's like I'm not putting my body through shit. And I had been noticing for a while, even when I was just an officer over at Mandalay, and I'm not there now, so I would have shoulder pain in my left side.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that it was a rotator cuff tear, just from the wear and tear of doing jiu-jitsu and strength training. So I went to physical therapy as such. My fault was I didn't take the proper routes of going to get an MRI and a CT scan. I told the doctor what I wanted. And this is another thing that we'll go deeper into our end topic about how insurance in the medical field is just a fucking scam.
I mean, you might as well just lead into that after your story. They connect.
You can go to your primary doctor and just request things. And because the medical field has just gone more or less, not to shit, but like because of the pandemic, and I do add this up to a lot because prior to, I don't feel like it was this bad. If I asked for something, they'll just prescribe it to you. Like when I told them I was having shoulder pain, they prescribed me the heaviest narcotics you can get. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I don't want drugs. I need recovery. Right. So can
like quick fixes.
I had to request to be put into physical therapy, and they're like, yeah, go ahead. With no MRI, no CT, no nothing was wrong. I said, I'm having shoulder pain. I think it's this. Right. What do you recommend? He's like, oh, what do you want? I'm like, well, I need the pain to stop. All right, I'm going to give you drugs. What else do you want? Well, I want more mobility so I can fix this. All right, we're going to send you physical therapy. So anything that I request, they'll give.
Which is backwards.
I shouldn't be, yeah, exactly. A medical professionalist should be able to give me the information that I need to be better, not ask for what I want and then I have to go figure it out on my own. Right. And I'm learning this more and more now, and it's making me feel like I'm more and more condescending because I'm getting this mindset where I feel like I know more than most. Yeah. And I don't want that. I want someone who knows more than me to help me take care of me, not me have to be giving advice to everybody else. So with this, I went to physical therapy. They strengthened my shoulder. I learned a lot, which is cool. Met cool people. I learned a lot about the human body and how the muscles work and how eccentric motions and concentric motions happen when the muscles attract.
Big
and
words.
Just the anatomy of the shoulder, the anatomy of the knee, everything. So I got better. It helped me better my job and my overall physical capabilities because I know how the body works. Right. So I got an education out of it, which is great, but it didn't fix my problem. Yes. I got better, and then I got worse because the impact of my job, the striking, of hitting each other and beating each other up with gear, full contact. It was like Fight Club minus the violence. Exactly. You're doing Fight Club in a suit and a tie. Every day. Like, every day. So I'm like, all right, something's wrong. Because the rest of my body feels great. I'm fine. Even after my knee surgery back in 2017, the hike, I had like no knee pain. No. Great. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I went to go get it checked out. They said I had osteoarthritis in my clavicle on the lateral side of my shoulder. So my side delt due to bone on bone, just rubbing, wear and tear, which it does happen in athletes over time. And this fracture or this damage happened due to either being in a car crash, which I haven't been in, or being in high impact, which is what I do. So I was like, okay, well, how does this fix? And they're like, it doesn't. Once you get arthritis, this shit don't go away. So they did something on me called the Mumford procedure. What they did is they shaved down a quarter piece of my collarbone to open up my shoulder to give it more room for mobility, for muscle and ligaments and tendons to move around. So I was like, okay. I started that journey back in March before my birthday, and we're in July, and my surgery, in June. And it took 3 months of, we want this information, we want this information, we want this information, and everybody needed their piece of the pie. Rather than just I could have been already back to work.
Yeah.
But because insurance wants this, and
Paperwork,
medical providers want
bureaucracy,
copays, because of all these people pinching pennies just to try and grab money. That was one thing I was going to show you too, is that for whatever reason, my MRI that I had, which is supposed to be covered by insurance, they want to bill me Steinberg Diagnostic. There's two types of places you can get MRI and CT scans here in town. Steinberg Diagnostic and Desert Radiology. I've gone through Steinberg for forever because of my knee surgery.
Okay.
Steinberg wanted to charge me $1,280 something, saying that my insurance didn't cover it. And I'm like, well, then why the fuck would you allow me to do it?
Right.
That's never been a thing.
Why would you recommend something my insurance doesn't cover?
Copays are what for that reason to where they can't bill you post. So it's like, I still have to call them to get that confirmed, but it's just they're pinching pennies for shit that I already knew that I needed,
right? And
I already knew that I had.
And they weren't telling you to get it. You had to figure it out.
I had to figure it out
right.
and do these reach arounds on my own in order to make these things work. So, long story short, I got the surgery 2-3 weeks ago, and it hit me harder than I expected. I have a very high pain tolerance, and on the second and third day, I was in more pain than I've been in a very long time.
Yeah.
Couldn't move.
I believe it.
Couldn't sleep on the fucking bed. I had to sleep on this couch.
Wow.
Trying to elevate and move myself around. The inflammation was so bad, and I was getting so much pressure. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, this can't be normal. I went back to my doctor after when they started taking all the staples out, and I was like, hey, why am I feeling like I have like 5 pounds of weight on my shoulder? What's going on? And the surgeon tells me, he's like, oh, they didn't tell you? I was like, of course not. What did they not tell me? Oh, we do orthoscopic, so they do a small incision.
Yeah.
And then they inject 5 pounds of fluid into your shoulder. So rather than opening up and flaying out your shoulder and then doing all the work and leaving this nasty, huge fucking scar.
Yeah.
Like my mom has a scar from her armpit all the way over to the other side.
Oh, shit.
Because she tore her rotator cuff, off the bone, forever ago.
Oh, fuck.
So her scar's huge. You saw mine. Mine is like, it's big, tiny. But it's like a quarter. It's like about half
compared
a dollar.
Compared to other scars.
So in order to do this procedure, they fill your shoulder up with water, with fluid, and then they use like a magnifying glass or a scope to see through your skin while cutting around.
That's intense.
Kind of like an X-ray of seeing everything so they can do the work.
That's weird.
I'm like, okay, that's cool. So they did this whole procedure, cleaned everything up, but he told me, it's like the 5 pounds of fluid, it's going to take time for your body to absorb and get rid of. So the pressure's going to be there for a while. Plus, we tore up all the tissue around there, so the muscles have to heal. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm recovering from this. I knew that this surgery was going to be tough. And I knew my body was going to need to take time to recover and do physical therapy. I was hoping I would have all the financial stuff taken care of before.
Right.
And man, I'm telling you, customer service, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or what, but and maybe it's not, maybe because it's not even I'm from here. I'm accustomed to, when I see somebody, I genuinely just try to smile at whoever I see.
Yeah.
I try to make eye contact and say hello. I say yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, sir, no, ma'am,
right,
with everything. And it's like, to get reciprocated that, it's starting to eat away at me that people are just not like that.
No, it's like pulling teeth.
Yes, it's like I've gotten now prone to, it's like I don't give eye contact as much.
Yeah.
If I'm talking to you, I do, but I don't like look at a stranger and so, oh, hello.
Right. Hey, how
it's
you
like,
doing?
yeah, exactly. It's like none of that comes through because you just get shit thrown back at you. So I was hoping with all of this stuff, me going into a really serious situation, the company would be able to find a way to help me because I put my body through the ringer for this shit.
Right.
As employees, you get this company called Sun Life that is supposed to be like disability, like Aflac or Geico and stuff like that. They only pay you 60% of your wages when you're gone on leave. But I'm telling you, man, that's
insane.
I couldn't get a hold of anybody. They didn't want to start my claim until after my surgery.
Right.
And I'm like, well, the first 3 days, dude, between the drugs and just being in pain and not
you're
sleeping,
a zombie.
I'm a zombie.
Yeah.
I couldn't even hold a conversation with myself.
Right.
Let alone fucking talk to somebody.
Right.
So I had to call this person after my surgery, and it took me like 3 days. And then when I call them, they're asking me the medical questions. And you could tell it was some lady working out of her fucking house.
Right.
Like, it's not even like a
just
good
reading
company.
A script or
multi-billion-dollar company, and they're hiring people that are employed working from home.
That's how
rather
they
than
got
office.
the money. Right.
Exactly. But that's how the pandemic turned it. More people started working
True.
from home. So I'm talking to this lady, and I'm trying not to lose my temper, but I'm like, hey, I can't answer these questions. She's like, oh, what kind of tools did they use in your surgery? Do you know when you were unconscious if they if they wiggled your big toe? I'm like, dude, they could have stuck their thumb on my butt. I wouldn't have fucking known. I'm like, I don't know the tools. I don't know. I only knew the procedure because I had to ask questions in physical therapy because my doctor didn't even tell me what it was.
Right.
And I snapped the lady. I was like, why are you asking me these questions and not asking my doctor? And then she's like, well, you could tell, like you said, she's reading off of a script.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I don't know. It's just we're due to the policy. We talk to whoever was a part of the surgery.
The fuck?
I was like, so anybody could have came. I could have had my kid come, and you could have just fucking talked to them at this point.
I sat in the waiting room.
Yes, I'm like, dude, I was like, I guess I don't know. I forgot if I had long socks or short socks. Stupid fucking questions. Finally, they come to the conclusion that they want to approve my shit, which should have been approved before I got into surgery.
Long before.
So I almost had a chance of getting into surgery, being out of commission, and not having any money.
Yeah.
I finally, to wrap up this long ass tangent of a fucking story.
Only 15 minutes.
I finally get through. And for whatever reason, due to the policy, I had to find out about it today. Mind you, we're on June 21st, and I had surgery June 6th.
Mm-hmm.
No monies came in. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
I called this Sun Life thing. The person who was viewing my policy could never get a hold of her. It was just going straight to voicemail.
Right.
I would call to talk to different tenants or different employees. Bounced around for hours on end. And I'm like, dude, I'm panicking. Am I going to have to fucking go back to work? I don't know what to fucking do.
Right.
I finally get a hold of somebody, and they said that in the policy that you get two options. Didn't know this. 14 days past your surgery, and then your benefits kick in for them to pay you, or 30 days. For whatever reason, I don't know why, maybe just because I wasn't paying attention, I opted the 30 days. I'm assuming because it's probably cheaper. I didn't know. So I asked, I was like, where can I find it where I can fix it for 14 days? She's like, well, that's for certain clientele or whatever, but Sun Life isn't the cause, even though, yes, we have a poor answering system, we have poor this, and this. Your company won't allow the benefits to kick in until past 30 days.
Yes.
So we can't pay you until July 7th. And I'm like, and then what? You guys only extended me from July 7th. My surgery out was June 6th. To July 17th. You're not going to start paying me till July 7th, and then you have me going back. You're canceling my benefits on the 17th. So you're going to pay me for 2 weeks?
Right.
What if I only needed 30 days of leave?
Right.
What would have been the point of this whole thing? So I asked for an extension. They're going to push it back to the 31st, but in order to get an extension past that, I have to get confirmation from the doctor to confirm that I'm not going to be 100%, because I can't go back into work with this shoulder only being like 80%.
Bro, you shouldn't go back to work doing your specific thing ever again.
It's high octane. It's not like I'm sitting behind a desk.
No.
It's like it put in my mindset and my perspective. It's like, you know what? And not that I'm gonna go do this, but I had to take a breath. I was talking to my girl, and I was talking to people, and I was trying to kind of like get the mindset of what I needed to do to kind of like put myself in a better path.
Right.
This is why people start to commit crimes.
Yes.
This is why we finesse the system.
Yes.
Take things, steal things, launder things, process things.
Yes.
Because I did everything I was supposed to do.
Right.
The honest to God, goodbye, day by day thing. I did my job. I paid my dues. I called the right people, and still no money, no backup, no nothing. I'm still scraping by the end of my teeth. And it just puts in my perspective. It's like, okay, so how is it, and let me ask my question to this for you to wrap up this bundle story. How does one find stable ground on a ground that is constantly being shifted and ripped apart?
And that's almost as perplexing a question as what's the meaning of life. Because we are born into a system that we ourselves did not create, we have no control over, and honestly, we're a slave to till the moment we die.
Right.
And so that's what, like I've said multiple times before, me and Lynn having these conversations is what really pushed me in the direction of starting my own business. But even with that comes with its own just fucking never-ending peril of flaming hoops, because you got to pay out money for this, you got to pay out money for that. We got scammed before we even started. Yeah. Because people, as soon as they found out we were trying to start a business, they would pretend to be certain government entities and agencies and like, oh, we need money for this license. We need money for that license. And thankfully, it wasn't a bunch of money. It was only like $150. Yeah. But it was still one of those things of we were bombarded from the moment we said go. Right. And like I told you guys before, my girl quit her job, took out her retirement. I quit my job, took out my retirement. We were Gucci for the most part, but it took so long, like with Lynn, it took so long for all this stupid fucking paperwork to process. And while this paperwork is processing, we still got to pay car insurance. We still got to pay registration. We still got to do all of this stuff for a car, for a business that's not even on its way yet. Yeah. We're sitting there dead in the water, shelling out money waiting for the DMV and the powers that be to go, okay, you're a business, you can operate now. So like right now, finally we got everything up and running. We've had a few students, but I'm going back to work because the funds are dry. We're running on zero.
Yeah.
And I'm not upset about that. It's more of, I don't understand how people are expected to survive without trying to start their own business.
You can't,
because
dude.
Shit is so expensive.
Yeah, you can't. You're not.
That you feel like you're being pushed out of your own home.
Yes.
By your home.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like I filed for unemployment, March 25th. May 25th, my bad. I filed for unemployment, still haven't gotten a phone call. They've updated my profile. They go, well, this is how much money you have. This is how much money we're going to pay you every week, but it's pending a resolution. It is now June 21st.
It's still nothing.
Still nothing. It's been almost a month. I'm like, bro, if I had nothing and all I could do was survive off of unemployment, I'd be fucked right now.
You know why that's a thing now more than anything? Because that was one thing I was considering as well. Not the form of unemployment, obviously, because I'm still considered employed through LOA.
I mean, but technically you could because you're not working.
Well, no, because I have to show proof that I'm not employed. I'm on leave of absence. Leave of absence still puts me as employed through the employer.
I thought there was some type of workaround.
Because if I was doing leave of absence, collecting a medical disability, and doing unemployment at the same time, that's fraud. Because I'm still collecting income through the company through my disability because I'm employed with the company. I can't collect disability funds if I'm not employed with the company.
I thought it was more of to compensate for the lack of funds.
No, that's not. I wish.
But
unemployment got fucked over with the pandemic when people were collecting X amount of checks off of everything because they were getting unemployment and they were getting the stimulus checks, so they were making money. So because of that, things have been so backed up.
Yes,
your amount that you may get is not going to be what you need, and then when you do get it, it's too late.
Yeah,
like for the disability shit, because they fucked me over. This will be my finessing of it. I will use that bitch for they don't need to know that I'm going back to work.
Oh no,
I will use that bitch for fucking weeks.
Anything and as long as it's legit.
Well, even after post employment, when I get back into employment, I'm staying on disability until they tell me otherwise. Like, because
you can't do your job.
No.
So you have to make sure you're not going to get fired for not being able to do your job, which is not your fault. It's actually the company's fault that you can't do your job. And that's what I mean.
Put in the shittiest fucking position.
Who do you hold responsible?
You can't.
When it's not your fault.
You can't.
So that's what I mean. It's like not even finding stable ground. You have to make your own fucking stable ground.
Right.
And that's so much easier said than done. Because by no means is me starting a business, it hasn't put me above anybody. It hasn't put me ahead of the game yet. Most businesses take anywhere from 3 to 5 years to pop off.
Right.
And that's if you're working your ass off. We're in our 6th month, maybe. No, we started back in November, technically speaking.
Did you?
That's when the business was officiated.
Right.
We just started on the road probably the beginning of this month. So it took us all the way from November of last year to June of 2023 to finally get on the road and start making money for our business.
Right.
So that's what I mean. It's one of those things of we're trying to start from the ground up. Lynn's trying to stay where he's at, but he keeps getting pushed down, and so he's having to claw his way back up. And it's like, okay, at what point do I just take the L and say fuck it?
That's where I'm at right now.
But I can't say fuck it.
Yeah.
Because I have XYZ to take care of.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So you need that. You need those cushions. But it's like, okay, when the rug's constantly being pulled out from under me, do I keep getting back up so that they can pull it out again?
No, exactly.
Or do I just stay down and take it?
Where do you find that's what I was saying exactly? The aspect of you saying there being cushioning. How there are other people that do. We try to do this honest 9-to-5 Joe thing of abiding the laws and doing our civil rights of paying our taxes, paying our bills, feeding, not committing crimes, not doing sins and stuff like that. And it's like you got people that are making money in multiple different revenues in multiple different directions, but they're doing it in an aspect where it's like this isn't what you were raised to do. It's like, oh, I know that this is an opportunity for me to make this, but this obviously isn't something. Well, let me put this in, even though this isn't your favorite person, but it's like if you talk about like Tate, Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
his method was shitty.
Yes.
Horrible.
Yes.
But because of what he was doing,
made
millions.
Yes.
Millions. Him and his brother made millions.
Yes.
Even after getting everything taken away and going to jail with the Romanian government and getting pulled out, he still has money.
Yes.
Because he decided to, in his terms, air quotes, break out of the matrix to find ways to do that. I'm not saying I'm following any of that shit, and I don't believe in any of that shit.
But it leads you to question.
It makes me question of like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Because everybody, the other 95% is telling me that what I'm doing is the right thing, and they're proud of me for doing this. But I was like, but you don't understand. When I'm by myself, I have nothing to show for any of that.
Yes, and that's what it's like. We want to pretend like we live in Metropolis, like everything's sunshine and fucking rainbows all day, because we don't want to let people know how fucked up we really are, fucked off we really are, to be honest.
Right.
But let's be honest, we're living in Gotham. Where good is bad and bad is good.
Yeah.
As the good guy, all you can try to do is the right thing. Sometimes the right thing, let me rephrase that. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. Sometimes good things happen to good people.
Right.
The only thing I could say as far as gaining that mental stability, and I'm always going to go back to this because when I run out of answers, it's my faith. That's the only thing I can lean on, because it's almost like, understanding that there's a higher power above me that has the ability to manipulate the situation in my favor. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be handed to me on a silver platter.
No.
But it's one of those things of putting my trust in a higher power to navigate the shit that I can't, that's going on behind closed doors.
Right.
The shit that's going on after they hang up the phone call. After I leave work, what are they doing? I just have to trust that, God is intervening on my behalf, and that somehow, some way, shit's going to work out to my favor. Does it always work that way? No, but that's life. That's what I can impart to you and anybody else listening is, whatever you believe in, whoever you believe in, you have to kind of stand strong and try to withstand the oncoming torrent of water that keeps hitting you. Every time you come up for air, you get hit again. Come up for air, you get hit again. But it's one of those things of it can't last forever.
Right.
They can beat you up. They can kick you while you're down. They can spit on you. They can piss on you. They can call you any name you want. But eventually, it stops. Eventually, you do get a breath. All you have to do is do your best to hold on and maintain. And then when you're out of options, when you're out of human, tangible options, like how we try to make sure we always have control.
Right.
That's the thing me and you have always done. We always try to maintain some form of control.
That's one of like I don't know if that's a weakness or a strength, but it's like my mindset has always been
it's a
like
blessing and a curse, you know?
Yes.
Because we don't know when to stop, but we also will try anything at the same time. So it's like when you're on unstable foundation, the only thing you can lean on is a higher power. That's easier said than done, because for a lot of people who haven't experienced that type of faith or who haven't experienced that type of religious connection or bond, it's like, okay, well, what the fuck does that mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? When you tell somebody to have faith, they're like, can I go to the store and buy
it?
Can I get a credit card?
It's needing guidance and I understand the concept of faith. I'm not against it. I've tried to direct myself in that aspect of, okay, maybe there's a larger purpose other than myself. Me not having control might be a good thing because it might be directing me towards something bigger, and it's hard to change my persona into thinking, okay, in a joking the term, let Jesus take the wheel. Yes. And be like, oh, you know what? Let me just let this course run what it is. But then I always have that terrifying, like, well, what if I do, and it just dumps me deeper in the fucking river.
I look like an idiot.
Like right now, I'm scraping and getting by,
right,
and I'm surviving. If I just fuck off and say, well, whatever, it'll fix itself, and kind of hope and faith, and then it doesn't.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, well, fuck. Now I'm stuck.
Well, see, and that's the difference, and I'm glad you put it that way. There's blind faith, and then there's knowledgeable faith. Mm-hmm. Blind faith, I'm not a fan of, because that's almost like just jumping off the cliff and hoping you land in water.
I've never been
a fan of that.
No,
it's one of those things of having the faith of allowing God to guide you, or, you know, whatever, if it's your spirit animal, whatever you want to call it, Captain Planet, whoever.
Captain Planet.
It's giving yourself over to a guidance that you don't quite understand, but you know has better intentions for you.
Right.
And Lynn has probably, between all of my friends, Lynn has seen the spiritual side of my life more than anything, because my mom's a pastor. We have our own church. I've been through some dumb shit. I've almost drowned. We've gotten lost. Like, there's been so many times where I have to let go and just, like, whatever happens, happens.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are other times where it's like, I still got to work and trust that what I'm doing is the right thing.
Okay.
And so that's where I say, don't have blind faith.
Right.
You need guidance. Like you said, you need to know that what you're doing is the right thing. So that's why it's like, I ask for signs. I'm constantly
it's the signs.
Asking for signs.
If you can give me
a sign.
If you give me a sign
that I'm doing it, just, I don't give a shit if it's like a cloud that says, keep going.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a bird that's whistling my favorite song. Give me a sign to let me know I'm doing the right thing, or give me a sign to let me know I need to change direction, change course. And maybe that's what you need to do. You know, ask for a sign and then sit on it. Like, this is the perfect time really for you to really readjust everything and reevaluate where you're going.
Right.
Because you have the time away from work. Yes, it's not the best of situations, but you have the time off of work to physically think about what's going on, and then spiritually recalculate, okay, am I just grinding for no reason? Am I scraping up a hill that I'll never be able to climb?
Right.
You know what I mean? I would rather slide down this hill of bullshit, get to a ladder at midway down that's actually allowing me to climb up, instead of me digging in, ripping off my fingernails, bleeding, crying, screaming, sweating every fucking day to get up a hill that you weren't meant to climb.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that hike we went on really opened up my mind to that. It's like, we're climbing hills that we weren't meant to get to the top of. This was not our hill. And really, if you think about it, let's go on some deep shit. What's the Luxor? A fucking pyramid. Okay?
Yeah.
Pyramid has smooth edges. You can't climb up a fucking pyramid. You're trying to climb a hill that you weren't meant to get to the top of.
Right.
Let's go with the building itself. It's like a big ass staircase, right?
Yeah.
But where's the top? There is no top. It's a flat surface.
Right.
You're trying to climb a hill you weren't meant to get to the top of.
Right.
So that's one of those things where I say, yes, you're working your ass off, but is it for your end goal, or is it for somebody else's end goal? That's where the faith comes in. That's where the giving up control to put your own oracle, the oracle in your head that says, we need to do this, do this, put her to the side and give in to another oracle that says, hey, let's just change direction real quick.
Right.
Let's take a step back. What's going on? I don't like this.
Right.
If I stay here, I'm going to die.
Right.
I'm either going to kill myself or I'm going to die from stress.
Right.
Like, being honest with yourself.
Understood.
What's the next step? And then you wait. You wait. How long? Don't fucking know. But something will happen. Things will happen in motion leading up to a point where you can look back and go, that was my sign. You go outside. You wake up one day and you're just like, I don't know why, but I really want to go to the park. So you go to the park. I don't know why, but I really need to just sit down and enjoy myself. Somebody walks by and they go, hey, I noticed you're doing X, Y, Z. You just happen to have a, you know what I mean? It's like all these things and you're like, fuck, that was my sign.
Right. So
that's the only way I can give anybody advice as far as finding stable ground. I know this went on way too long, but me and Lynn do get in these deep ass conversations. So I'm glad we're recording this.
The welcoming back, it's something that needs to be done. It's what got us started.
And this is us kind of on a new chapter of Project Airwaves. Before we were trying to kind of sugarcoat stuff and not be too vulnerable.
Right.
But at this point in our lives where we have nothing but vulnerability. We have no reason but to open up.
Understood. Yeah.
Because if somebody's listening to this, that means they're probably going through what we're going through.
Right.
Been through what we're going through, or about to go through what we're going through.
Right.
So us being successful and us finding our foundation, I hope will help somebody else down the road find their foundation. Like, you know, what if your kid's listening to this down the road? They're going through some shit and it's like, oh, well, I guess if he did it.
Right.
So that's the reason I like to record these episodes and really get this shit out there. Let's go ahead and jump into our last topic.
Do you want to roll this into the next one, or?
Well, yes, we're going to pick this up in part 2.
Yes.
Like I said before, if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, leave us a comment. You see all of our social media links in the description down below. I have a book and a business. Lynn's falling apart like Mr. Potato Head, but we'll get some super glue and put his happy ass back together, and we will see you in part 2.
Bye.